Hey, what's up? You're watching The Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith. Homeland coming back for its final season. Sam Trammell's here with us. What's up, man?
What's up?
How's everything going?
Great. I'm back in New York, which is
back in New York. You're cleanly shaven here. How about that?
I know. We were just laughing. Like, I can't remember the last time I shaved for a part. And
like, how many years are we talking here?
A lot.
Wow.
I don't want to say.
You're not going to put a time on it.
I can't. Yeah, it's too early for me to figure it out. But yeah, I don't usually play politicians, but you got to shave when you do that. Yeah.
And for a show like Homeland, you're just going to do it all.
You got to show up.
I mean, amazing show. We were talking about it off camera. What was the biggest appeal about jumping into this?
Well, I mean, it's just such a juggernaut, this show. I mean, and it's like the A-team of TV. They have the best directors. They have the writers, Alex Gansa and Howard Gordon, who, I mean, the writing is so good on the show. And, you know, I mean, it's funny, I'd worked with Alex Gansa a long time ago on this show called Maximum Bob, that Barry Sonnenfeld directed. It was a comedy, it was weird. But anyway, we teamed up again, and I just get to show up in the last season and do so much that I can't tell you about.
Well, I'm excited to check it out. You make your presence felt. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. So that's Vice President Hayes right there.
So what was it like playing this guy? What were the challenges in pulling this off?
Well, you know, he's an ambitious guy. He's to the right of center, and the president, you find out has pulled me onto the ticket to kind of help soothe the divided nation, because he's left and I'm right. And you know, stuff happens. And it's really exciting.
This is one of those shows where, if you haven't checked it out, there's so much that has been packed into the seasons, and it's like stuff you would never expect to happens in this show.
Yeah, and it's huge. I just saw, I think you saw one episode. I just saw the first episode last night, and it's so massive this year. It's, you know, it takes place a lot in Afghanistan, and we were shooting in Casablanca, Morocco, and that was a funny thing because I would fly out there to be on a White House set. And look like that.
In Morocco.
And like, also, like all of the extras and the background actors, and there are a lot of them because you're like in the Situation Room, and you've got generals, and you've got, you know, important secretaries, and people that are they had to get them from the Casablanca population.
That's crazy.
And none of them spoke English.
No, they're just hanging out in this White House.
I don't know if any of them had seen the show. They had no idea what was going on.
They're like, yeah, we could make some money doing this. Cool. Let's roll.
Totally. And so we had a French AD who would speak to them in French and explain, no, you have to look at him when he comes in. He's the president. You have to stand up, but don't look too much. Like, just directing them. It was funny. It was a lot.
Did you start to
awesome to
yeah, I'm sure. Did you start to think more about being one heart attack away from the presidency, like being to the right of center? Like, what was it like to unpack that part of it?
Well, oh God, I wish I'd tell you more. Listen, there's something about being a powerful politician, okay? Even in pretend land.
You could feel it in your bones?
Completely. Yeah. And also on a show like Homeland, which is all about, if you're going to be a politician, be it on that show, because it's real. It feels just more real for some reason. It's because the writing's so good. And, you know, people, it's a funny thing. You really do kind of feel the power of it, even just pretending to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody, and I feel like unconsciously people treat you with a little more respect.
They look you a certain way.
If I was like, had a bigger part, but was like a lower level person.
No, you're the VP. You're the guy.
I'm the VP.
Yeah, you got the flag here. It means that you could be next to the president.
Totally. and all the extras too were, you know, would look at you like, you know, you were, you know, more important than you were.
It's funny how we do that with politicians, with entertainers. Like, I'm sure you've dealt with it. Like, we're just all regular people, but we just treat people differently for whatever reason.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just the suit that you wear. You know,
or how you carry yourself. Yeah, definitely.
But Morocco was incredible. I went there like 8 times, and I would shoot a couple days and then travel.
So where else did you check out?
I checked out, I mean, Marrakesh, Fez, Tangier, Essaouira.
You were all over.
So many places. I was up in the mountains. But usually with the production, when you go and you shoot somewhere, the production kind of puts its stamp on the place. I mean, it's because productions are like armies, and they have everything under control. They have cars for you. They do this, they do that. They got the hotel, and it's all like, they've got it under control.
Pretty insular. Yeah.
In Morocco, it was the opposite. Like, Morocco put its stamp on us. Like, when I got there, I felt like I was in the show. I felt like I was going to be handed a dossier, kidnapped, put on a motorcycle, because there was the people picking me up couldn't speak English. I was just kind of shuttled to this weird hotel. You know, you're kind of, it's an Islamic country, which was so fascinating and wonderful. But really, really, I don't know, it was fun. It was, but very exotic, you know, very exotic. And like I said, I felt like I was in the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we were talking off camera. Carrie Mathison is unlike any character I've ever seen before on TV because it's somebody that is battling mental illness, who's amazing at her job and keeps getting roped back in. So when you think about that character in Claire Danes, what was it like just witnessing that greatness throughout?
It's greatness. She's so good. And you saw the first episode. I mean, just watching it, she brings so much to every scene. And yeah, she's been playing the character for 7 years, or it's 8 now. You know, this is the last season. But I was in True Blood for 7 years, and I know that like it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you know your character a little bit better, but you still have to bring it every time. And she just, there's so much going on with her in every scene, and you just see her thoughts, and you see her struggles, what she's struggling with that person in that particular moment. And yeah, she's getting roped back in, and she's got, you know, and I mean, I guess it's not really a spoiler because it tells you right at the very beginning. She's been somewhere and she doesn't know what happened.
Right, she's trying to piece together
place.
like
she's trying to piece
days.
together in her own mind what she might have revealed to whoever, wherever she was. And that plays a huge factor because she may have given up secrets the government had or not, she doesn't know. And they don't know if they can trust her. And so you've got this person that nobody knows if they can even trust, going in and playing a major part in American U.S. policy. So it just, the whole thing starts off, you're on the edge of your seat. Yeah,
there's a lot of potential ramifications of that information and her character. And then also in Mandy's character, in Saul Berenson, like his evolution, you know, he had done his thing in intelligence, now he's kind of trying to break through politically. So what was it like kind of working with that character and seeing that evolution?
Well, I got to work with Mandy, and that guy's incredible. I was so impressed with him. He was like working harder than anybody, and I expected. I don't know what I expected, but I did not. I was just really impressed with how he works, and you know, he's really talented, and you know, it's a trip. I was sort of surreal for me, being in the White House and having him sort of bow to me, you know. And I'm like, I just came on the show.
You're like, I've been doing this for 8 years. Yeah.
I feel like I need to be like, but you're like, you know, to me. So that's a trip, and you got to hold that power. But he was great. I mean, he's a total pro, and just really, really thoughtful about his moments and how he works, and he's great. And I get to work with Linus Roach a lot, who's unbelievable. Plays the chief of staff. Hugh Dancy, I got to work with. It's his first season. Just like, I mean,
great cast.
Such great actors. I mean, and you know, as we said, the writing's amazing. So it was special.
That's awesome. I'm sure you have a pretty unique perspective because True Blood was 7 seasons. You understand the bear it is to make a show last that long. So when you think about your experience on that show, what are the keys to sustaining and also to like cutting through in this crazy TV industry?
Well, it's so new now. I don't even know about cutting through because when I was doing True Blood, even at the beginning of this, there was no Amazon Prime, there was no Netflix. I mean, it was just totally different.
Hulu wasn't a thing.
But True Blood, I remember it was all about, Alan Ball was always asking the writers, why are people watching? And so we were always going bigger and more and trying to keep it, you know, that was our thing. It was a totally different kind of show, though. It was a very saucy show, sexy, kind of campy, bridged a lot of different genres. This show is Homeland is just a smart, dramatic, you know, brilliant show. And the amount of work the writers have to do, they'll meet with ex-CIA people, ex-administration people, who understand the geopolitics and who will tell them or help them predict what's going to be current in 10 months, in 12 months when the show comes out. And that's what they'll write to. And that's what they've done again this year. So, like I said, a lot of the season takes place in Afghanistan, and it's just very kind of current, and you feel that, and it's just impressive, you know, what they do. They're really geniuses, you know.
Yeah,
these
definitely.
Guys. Yeah.
What else sticks out in your career? I mean, you've done all these great things. What have you enjoyed the most? People you've worked with, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh! So God, you know, one of my favorite things that I ever did was just I did a play at Lincoln Center.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like in '98, that I got nominated for a Tony Award.
Nice.
Did a Eugene O'Neill play.
Oh, that must have been great.
So great, yeah. I mean, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I started doing, you know, I moved here in '91 and did theater here, and and I haven't done a play in so long, but that was really a great one. Yeah, and you know, there's a couple. I just did a movie called The Tiger Rising that's based on a young adult novel that Dennis Quaid and Queen Latifah and you know, Catherine McPhee, this young guy Christian Coveney is in. That's going to be really good, and as well, Generation, HBO Max show that Zelda, a 17-year-old wrote this.
Really?
Yeah, with her dad. So, yeah, Zelda Barnes with Daniel Barnes wrote it, and then Daniel's husband Ben Barnes, who's also Zelda's father, is producing. So it's just like this family.
17,
yeah.
that's insane.
17, and it's all about 17-year-olds. And Lena Dunham's producing.
Nice. Well, I mean, who better to
HBO
tell
Max.
a story than a 17-year-old, right?
And it's really, you know, current and edgy and interesting. It's supposed to be amazing. I got to work with Martha Plimpton. We play husband and wife. Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah?
Yeah. And she was, I mean, I was a fan of hers because she was a kid actress.
Right.
I didn't start acting till I was like second semester of college. So I was a fan of hers.
Yeah, I don't know how kids
cool.
do it and then turn it into a whole thing. Like Claire Danes did it as a kid actor. I mean, it's a crazy thing to think like how tough life was as like 12, 13, 14, and then sustaining it for all these decades later. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and then I guess some kids it works for some, it doesn't. You never know. I mean, I have an 8-year-olds that are starting to talk about acting. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you like?
Are you telling them to run for the hills, or are you encouraging them?
No, I'm not telling them to run for the hills. I'm just, I mean, look, I love what I do, and there is a true excitement that one of them might love that as well, just because it's a passion. But whatever they want to do, I support. You know?
Yeah, you just got to be real
with
with
them.
them.
I'm definitely not pushing them in any direction.
Right. I think that's a good approach as a dad. Just encourage them, be honest with them, and then see where the road takes them.
My dad was a surgeon. He was always like, "You should be a lawyer."
So he's like, "Don't do this."
He never encouraged me to be.
What kind of surgeon was he?
General surgeon. He worked very hard.
Yeah. That's the type of real life stuff when it really puts
so
it in
real
perspective.
Life. Yeah.
Like doing what you do, doing what I do, it's just like, there's hard days, but nothing compares to like life and death like that.
I'm so fortunate my parents are still alive and together, and they're very supportive of what I do. And I just frequently just think, Dad, I'm a court jester.
Yeah.
Like, you save lives.
Right. That's the real
When he
deal.
was working, you know, he would have patients. He couldn't never have a drink because you might get a call at 12 at midnight to go and do, you know, work on somebody's guts. You know.
It's a sacrifice.
Thank goodness somebody likes to do it, because I can't deal with blood and guts.
So what did your parents think when they saw you in True Blood? I mean, that must have been a trip.
They were, they were embarrassed. I think they were a little embarrassed. Like,
a lot going on in
like
the show.
The first episode, I think there was some sexual activity. You know, there was, and then I think my great aunt watched it, and
man.
I was just not good. Yeah,
that's a tough one to digest.
My mom was always frustrated with that show.
You're like, Sam, you couldn't have been in something else, just a little less edgy.
Why are you doing this?
We're really happy for you, but just a lot going on.
Can't you do a kid show? You know. So the edgy stuff is tough for them.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a good one to watch.
Yeah, and then Breakthrough, I did Breakthrough
was a really nice movie.
On the plane, right? It was a nice movie. Chrissy Metz.
Yeah.
Who's
incredible in that movie.
Singing now.
And then also you play a doctor in that movie, so that kind of brings it full circle with what your dad does.
I had to ask him how to pronounce a bunch of stuff, and that was literally one of the hardest things I've ever done.
There's a lot of jargon for your character.
There was so much jargon, and it had to be quick, and we were doing multiple scenes together where there were actually time cuts. And so you had to re-remember things, and it had to be urgent, and it was hard.
And a really emotional movie also.
Very emotional, yeah. Beautiful story, true story.
Yeah, and you met the kid, you told me.
I met the kid.
So what's he like now?
And his mom. Well, he's great. I think he wants to be, go into like being a minister, like go into that. But he didn't have any brain damage, and remarkably, and he's just a great kid, cool kid.
That's awesome. So when people check this out on Sunday, what are the big things you want them to take away from the final season of Homeland?
Whoa. Well, there's so much that happens, and And I show up in episode 3, and I can't say anything, but I do play a big part in the season.
All right.
I'm not in the first 2 episodes, and I can't tell you anything because it would be massive spoilers. But it was just a total honor. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just such good writing and directing. The directors they have, Alex Graves, and Michael Cuesta, Leslie Lincoln Glatter, they're all just like the best directors, and so it was a pleasure. I mean, and it was also weird because I'm in Casablanca right there.
Not Washington D.C.
Yeah, not Washington D.C. And Casablanca, which is not what you would imagine, is this romantic kind of. It's a gritty work city.
Yeah, a little different from the optics.
Not
there.
set up for tourists. There's not. It's like a lot of cars and.
Well, it fits well with the grittiness of this show.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Sam, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you,
Thanks for coming
too.
in. Showtime, Sunday, the final season. Check it out. For Sam, I'm DJ. See you next time here on The Sit Down.